Welcome back, Cules. Big news today as Real Madrid coach Xabi Alonso speaks about Barcelona ahead of the new La Liga season. From his reaction to La Liga's controversial plan to move Barca's match to the US, to his thoughts on Lamine Yamal's incredible rise, and even the refereeing controversy in the Mallorca clash, Alonso didn't hold back. Stick with us as we break down all his comments and what they mean for Barcelona this season. Athletic Club star Nico Williams has over the last 24 hours reiterated why exactly he opted against joining Barcelona, in favor of staying put at San Mamés this summer. The name of wide man Nico of course dominated the headlines in Catalonia's capital once more earlier this summer. As much came after widespread confirmation was forthcoming that Barcelona had reactivated their efforts to bring the 22-year-old in from Athletic. Just when it appeared as though the transfer was a sure thing, however, Nico, out of the blue, pulled the plug on the operation. The attacker, instead, made the call to put pen to paper on a lucrative long-term contract extension in Bilbao. Owing to the last-minute nature of his decision, Nico was subjected to heavy abuse across the Spanish football landscape, particularly by way of the Barcelona fanbase. The player himself has maintained, though, that his heart remained with Athletic Club throughout the saga. And Nico laid out a similar message when drawn on the summer speculation surrounding his name once more late on Sunday. Fresh off a starring display in Athletic's opening day victory over Sevilla in La Liga, the Spanish international explained, "I'm very happy here. I'm very proud of the people and how they have embraced me from minute one. That's why I stayed here." The brass at La Liga champions Barcelona have this week been offered the chance to add to the club's defensive ranks. That's according to Diario Sport, who point towards Benjamin Pavard as the player offered up to the Blaugrana. Versatile stopper Pavard is for his part expected to be on the move before the summer is out. Serie A heavyweights Inter Milan are keen to shed the Frenchman's considerable wages, therefore seeking out any and all potential suitors. Over recent days, Pavard knocked back a big money proposal by way of Saudi Arabia, keen to continue plying his trade at the top level of European football. Such desires culminated in the former Bayern Munich man early this week being offered to the aforementioned Barcelona by super agent Pini Zahavi. That's according to Sport, who have also confirmed that the Blaugrana sanctioning any move for Pavard as things stand, is highly unlikely. The board at the Camp Nou remain hamstrung from a financial standpoint, therefore not currently eyeing any further personnel reinforcements before the close of the window. FC Barcelona began the defense of their La Liga title in style, defeating RCD Mallorca 3-0 away at San Moix this past Saturday. Goals from Rafinha, Ferran Torres, and Lamine Yamal sealed the victory for the reigning champions against Jagoba Arasate's team, who were down to 9 men in the first half. Up next for Barcelona is another trip away from home as they take on UD Levante at the Ciutat de Valencia this coming Saturday. 5 Barcelona players train on day off. With there being plenty of time before the next game, Barcelona manager Hansi Flick gave today off to his players following their recovery session on Sunday after returning from Mallorca. Despite having a rest day, as many as 5 Barcelona stars showed up at Ciutat Esportiva Joan Gamper to train today, reports Carlos Montfort of Sport. Indeed, Pedri, Dani Olmo, Joan Garcia, Wojciech Szczesny, and Oriol Romeu were all present at the club's training facilities today, working voluntarily despite it being their day off. Hansi Flick and his staff were also present at the training facilities. Of the 5 players, Pedri and Joan Garcia started the game against Mallorca and had solid games at San Moix. Olmo, meanwhile, played in the second period, coming on for Fermin Lopez at halftime. Szczesny was not part of the traveling squad as he is not registered by Barcelona yet, while Romeu was also left behind as he is not part of Hansi Flick's plans. In fact, the veteran midfielder is soon expected to reach an agreement for the termination of his contract so that he can leave the club as a free agent. As for Szczesny, the Blaugrana are working hard to ensure that his registration is secured before the upcoming game against Levante later this week. Barcelona continue their efforts to register all their players in La Liga. The champions already managed to register Joan Garcia and Marcus Rashford in time for the opening league fixture against RCD Mallorca. But the likes of Wojciech Szczesny, Marc Bernal, Gerard Martin, and Rooney Bargi all remain unregistered thus far. Operation Szczesny, underway. Now, according to Sport, the current priority for Barcelona is to register veteran goalkeeper Szczesny, who was left out of the squad against Mallorca. The sporting management is working against the clock, as manager Hansi Flick is eager to return to normality as soon as possible. At Barcelona, there is confidence that the transfer window will close with the 1:1 rule met, but calculations are ongoing to ensure Szczesny can be registered immediately. Barcelona need to finalize the departures of Oriol Romeu and Iñaki Peña in the coming days to create the necessary space for the Polish international. What's the situation with Romeu and Peña? The priority is to reach a termination agreement with Romeu, in which both sides will need to compromise. Negotiations are ongoing and an agreement is expected soon. The preferred option was to grant him a free transfer while saving the entirety of his salary. However, this is no longer possible at this stage of the summer. Contacts were initiated too late, and Barca will now have to make concessions and accept to pay a part of his salary, as the number of potential destinations for the player has dwindled as the days have passed. The case of Peña could be resolved more quickly. Barcelona would renew his contract for 1 year, redistributing part of the wages owed to him this season, and then facilitate a loan exit on a more manageable salary for interested clubs. Serie A side Como would be in a position to complete the deal before Wednesday under these new financial conditions, while Celta Vigo are still an option for the goalkeeper. If both operations go through, Barcelona believe they will have enough margin to register Szczesny with the number 25 shirt, allowing him to be available for selection against Levante. This past weekend, FC Barcelona played their first game of the 2025-26 La Liga season, defeating RCD Mallorca 3-0 away from home. The Catalans managed to get the registrations of two of their summer signings, Joan Garcia and Marcus Rashford, completed in time for the game, and both players made their official debut for the club at Sun Moix. However, fellow summer arrival Rooney Bargi was not registered and excluded from the squad, along with Wojciech Szczesny and Gerard Martin. Rooney Bargi to be registered as a first-team player. Considering that Bargi is still 19 years old, Barcelona had been contemplating the idea of registering him as a reserve team player but having him in the first-team dynamics. However, according to AS, Bargi will not be registered with Barça Athletic. This follows a recommendation from La Liga, which the club has chosen to accept in order to avoid straining relations with the governing body. Bargi arrived from FC Copenhagen for €2 million, and La Liga's view is that Barcelona's intention is for him to be part of the first team, hence the recommendation to register him under an A license. The Swedish youngster has accepted the situation, is happy in Barcelona, and is using these weeks to complete his adaptation to the city and the club. Bargi has settled quickly in the dressing room, with Robert Lewandowski and Szczesny taking him under their wings. Although he joins in a position where Lamine Yamal is untouchable, his attitude has been excellent, and Flick has been impressed with his qualities. At Barcelona, there's a sense of calm regarding player registrations. The club is confident that Rooney Bargi, Wojciech Szczesny, and Martin will all be officially registered before the transfer window shuts on August 31st. For now, they might not feature in the upcoming games against Levante and Rayo Vallecano, since the priority was registering Joan Garcia and Marcus Rashford. However, Barca maintain that by September 1st, all three will be available for selection. In fact, there's optimism that Szczesny's registration could be sorted this very week, after which the cases of Martin and Bargi will be finalized. Meanwhile, in Madrid, the spotlight is on Xabi Alonso as he prepares to make his La Liga managerial debut. His first match in charge of Real Madrid comes against Osasuna on Tuesday at the Santiago Bernabeu, where he'll enjoy the full backing of a packed home crowd. Ahead of the clash, Alonso held his first press conference of the season, touching on the team's preparation, tactical approach, and expectations for the campaign ahead. On the team and his plans. Kicking things off, the Real Madrid manager gave an insight into the mood in the locker room heading into the opening game of the season, saying, "We're all approaching it with excitement, enthusiasm, and eager to get the season underway. It's been a short but intense 2 weeks, and we're already looking forward to stepping into the Bernabeu. We want to start well. The first game is always important. Tomorrow is the day." On being asked about how well the team has been able to digest his ideas and style, Alonso replied, "We're making progress. It's hard to measure. We certainly still have a few steps more to go. But we already introduced the main ideas and fundamentals at the Club World Cup, and we've worked hard on them these past 2 weeks. The feeling is good." There have been speculations that there may be some exits at Real Madrid before the window closes, but Alonso made it clear that he is counting on everyone in the team. "I'm counting on everyone here and I want everyone to be at 100%. We need that. I'm counting on everyone right now," he stated. Alonso returns to the Bernabeu as manager, 11 years after his final game at the stadium as a Real Madrid player. Explaining his feelings ahead of the momentous occasion, he said, "The memories I have are very good. I returned to Bayern and felt the affection. Now my role is different, but I'm excited and motivated, eager to feel that connection with the people again. Whatever happens, happens, and whatever I feel, I'm happy to be back. On the players. Alonso then praised new signing Franco Mastantuono and insisted that the teenager will have no issues in settling in at Real Madrid. The first time I spoke to him, I was truly struck by his personality. He was still only 17 years old and very self-confident. He wasn't afraid of taking the step to come to Real Madrid, the manager remarked. You can see his maturity, his desire, his quality. He's going to integrate very quickly into the team. On whether the new arrival can play against Osasuna, he said, he could get minutes tomorrow. He'll bring quality, energy, is committed defensively and has good momentum. I've seen that he has that drive and that Argentine competitive spirit. He's good with the final pass. He's at a very good level. On Mastantuono naming Barcelona legend Lionel Messi as the best in the world, Alonso commented, I can see why it makes sense that his favorite player is Messi. Being Argentine, it's no surprise to me. Talking about one of the selection dilemmas he will have, between Dani Carvajal and Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, Alonso noted, I'm clear that it's a fantastic competition. And I love that we have two players in each position who can play. Sometimes I'll have to split the roles, but we have all the positions doubled. Carva is getting closer to his level. That's very good for the level of the squad. We have a lot of games. Another major talking point since Alonso took over has been surrounding the superstar duo of Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe and whether they are willing to put in the defensive work off the ball. Discussing that, the manager said, it's a matter of all the lines being aware of it. It's important for the forwards not to get caught out on the turns, but also that when we attack, the defensive line pushes. We want to function as a team. That's going to help us improve at all distances, both when we defend and when we attack. It's very important to be aware of them today. I think we made a step forward in the World Cup. It's something we're very aware of and have been working on. Rodrigo has been constantly linked with a departure this summer, but Alonso clarified that he counts on the Brazilian forward. There are a lot of rumors during the summer. He's been doing well. I'm counting on everyone and I want them to be committed to and for the team and to be at 100%. That's what worries me and what's occupying me right now. Regarding Brahim Diaz and the role he will have in the team, Alonso said, I've seen him well. I already knew him, how different Brahim can be, how he understands the position. He's great in short spaces. He didn't surprise me. On what promises he wishes to make to the fans ahead of the start of the season, the Real Madrid boss said, I'm more of a doer than a sayer. Promising before doing doesn't usually work in football. We're also eager to bring that energy to the stadium and deserve it. Just saying it won't make it happen. We want to start down that path tomorrow. Regarding La Liga's decision not to postpone Real Madrid's opener against Osasuna, Alonso remarked, it's now immutable, but our request, especially for the players' health, would have been nice to receive that support. It wasn't possible. We've only had 2 weeks and there are no excuses. The team can compete tomorrow. Heart and desire are stronger than legs. On Barcelona. Alonso was also asked a fair number of questions related to Real Madrid's arch-rivals Barcelona, starting off with La Liga's proposal to move the Catalans' game against Villarreal to the US. The Real Madrid boss stood by the statement issued by the club in opposition of that plan, saying, I completely agree with the club's statement. If the rules are changed, it must be done unanimously by all participants. That's not the case now. On being asked for his thoughts on Barcelona teenage sensation Lamine Yamal, Alonso remarked, he's been an important player for Barça and the national team. It's time to face him. Regarding the refereeing controversy during Barcelona's game against Mallorca on Saturday, Alonso replied, it's not my place to comment on what's happening in other games, but I did hear what Mallorca manager Arrasate said and he explained it very well. So Kules, Alonso has made it clear, Barcelona are on everyone's mind as the new season begins. With Lamine Yamal shining, refereeing debates heating up, and La Liga controversies surrounding international fixtures, there's never a quiet moment at Camp Nou. What do you think of Alonso's words about Barça? Should La Liga move games to the US? And is Yamal already one of the league's most feared players? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more daily Barcelona updates.